On the show today, Sixers debut this season with a win. VJ Edgecombe looked great. Tyrese Maxey looked great. And there's nothing else to talk about. This is the show. The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook by using promo code RTRS. Brought to you by Barker Therapeutic Dog Beds. Get yours at barkerbeds.com/Ricky. Adam Ksebe, the official realtor of the process, at 302-864-8643. LL Pavorsky Jewelers, where Rights to Ricky Sanchez listeners go and get engaged. And Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka, the official canned cocktail of the Ricky. We're not going to talk about DraftKings at all in the rest of the pod, but I wanted to let you know about this thing that they're doing that is particularly good for the Sixers. It's called early exit. If you bet on a prop on a player and they're injured in the first half or pregame, you get your money back as a credit that you can bet again, which is cool, the entire first half. So that is with DraftKings now, all NBA first half injuries are covered up through the first half. It shows up as lost, but you get the credits for it the next day. Fly the Process is in New Orleans. We're going to New Orleans. Maybe the Sixers are good, and this trip, which was going to a place that is good, is actually going to see a good basketball team. Could you imagine? New Orleans, February 20th to 23rd. Oh, it's going to be a good time. You go with fans of Philly. You get your flights, your hotel, the party, the tickets, the t-shirt, all that bullshit. Rights to RickySanchez.com/fly. And if you need a custom package, if you're already in New Orleans, you're coming from somewhere other than Philly, email joe@fansofphilly.com. That's Rights to RickySanchez.com/fly. We love our friends at Surfside. Only have two kinds of beverages in our fridge: regular seltzers and Surfsides. That's it. Surfside iced tea and vodka, lemonade and vodka. We are specifically iced tea, lemonade and vodka, and strawberry lemonade and vodka. Those are the two we love in our fridge. You can pick whichever one you want. The good news is they all have 2 grams of sugar. They all have 100 calories. None of them have any bubbles because it is iced tea or lemonade. Shouldn't have fucking bubbles. You can get it wherever you get canned cocktails or go to drinksurfside.com. You got to be 21. Please enjoy it responsibly. Without any further ado, Amos and the chef.
We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We was right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We were right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. Say the name.
Welcome to the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast. I'm Spike Eskin, along with a guy that just watched the Sixers beat the Celtics on opening night. Maybe this year's going to be okay. That is one Mike Levin.
Oh, my God. What a game.
They won.
They did it. They won in Boston.
Yep.
I had a great time. I had a blast. I really liked watching it. Edgecombe scored 34.
It's unbelievable.
In his first game.
Yep.
As an NBA player.
You know what the real way for this Sixers game to end was him missing those free throws. They lose on a last second. And we have to convince ourselves in the pod afterwards that even though they... What's that?
And I would have.
Well, yes, we would have, of course.
I would have.
Yes, that would have been our job, and it would have been the right thing to do. But we wouldn't have been able to be truly excited about what happened because he would have missed those free throws and they would have lost. But they fucking missed the shots, and we won.
And they played good defense on those last couple plays. They were right there. VJ, most first quarter points in a debut ever, passing LeBron.
Yes.
That's cool. Passing Iverson for most Sixers points in a debut ever. Incredible. Most points in a debut since Wilt.
Really?
That's wild. Yes.
Wow.
That is unbelievable, man. We got to start with VJ. Obviously, Maxey had 40. We'll talk about him as well. But, like, VJ carried them in the first quarter.
I promise we'll talk about Embiid, too.
And we'll talk about Joel. But, man, he just...
He just looked so calm out there.
He looked so calm. He stayed so balanced. He took 13 threes. He took what the defense gave him. He took 26 shots. People were deferring to him. I loved it. A bunch of dunks in the half court. I have so many notes. I thought his handle looked good. Crossed over Xavier Tillman, got to the rim, blew by him, monster dunk. He just turns the corner so well. It's so much burst vertically, horizontally.
Well, and when he leaps and flies through the air, it's like one of those things where it looks like it just keeps going when he's in the air. You know what I mean? Like he should be going down and he's not going down. One thing on the handle that I thought was interesting to note, that it was when it was him and Grimes out there, he was the primary ball handler guy, not Grimes, which I thought was an interesting decision.
Well, so let's come back to that, because I think that's I have a sort of a thesis thing. I want to be excited about VJ for a sec, but I'll do a thesis afterward. But a beautiful Euro step past Jaylen Brown, who tried to bait him into a charge, very savvy. I mean, a bunch of layups. I said it last pod, but like in college, when he couldn't dunk over anybody or wide open, he really had a tough time finishing. And over the last 7 months, he's gotten so much better. He's gotten so much savvier, smarter, finishing with both hands. I mean, he's just overwhelming. His bounce is overwhelming. Willing Cutter had a nice back cut, ran the 2-on-1 with Oubre perfectly, and finished a tough alley-oop with the defense bearing down. The thing that I love, I mean, the shot looked great. Even when the shots that missed, 5 for 13.
Did you mention the alley-oop? Did you mention the alley-oop?
I just said it, yeah.
Okay, all right, sorry.
Unbelievable. He shot it confident. It had good arc. He's very balanced. He's not sped up. He looked very, very comfortable. And when he kept doing that, that opens up the drives. And then he hits, and then they're scared of the drive. And then he has more space for the three. And that's just like everything feeds each other. Everything changes how the defense respects different parts of your game. He hit a couple pull-ups off the dribble, took a floater, didn't go in, but I loved it. Had a turnaround in the lane, ended up finishing a nice like kind of dead ball. Like he didn't have any room to go and just sort of was like, oh, I'm open. I'm close enough to the basket. Hits one over Derek White late. That was awesome. He's just a really nice variety and doing exactly what you're supposed to do. He looks so much more mature than you would expect a guy like him, this athletic, this played this little not small amount of basketball to look. He looks great. He looked absolutely great. I'm thrilled. I have more to say, but you jump in.
Well, good news, we didn't trade back.
Yeah.
We just took the best guy.
Yes, right now, absolutely, 100%.
Yes.
Take the best guy.
Take the best guy. I think that the biggest, we know how athletic he is. He's not always gonna shoot as well as he did tonight. I thought that the thing that you outlined that I felt the most watching it is that he did not look out of place. He was playing. No. He doesn't. I don't want to say this the wrong way. He doesn't play slow, but he doesn't play sped up. Right? Yeah. Like he looks like he is moving within the flow of the game, and the fact that every time he hit a big shot, whether it was a dunk or a shot, he fucking wanted it, man. Like he wants every part of being out there. And if this is the start of it,
yeah,
like we've had to convince ourselves, we've had to talk ourselves into rookies before. We didn't have to talk ourselves into Ben because Ben looked good as a rookie and Joel looked good as a rookie. But over the years, we've talked ourselves into a lot of guys. This guy, if you had any doubts after tonight, and dude, just I mean the dunk in the first quarter, he was there right away. He was great. He was absolutely great. I couldn't have imagined that he would have a debut as strong as tonight was. I wouldn't have imagined it.
You can be very excited about both the ceiling and the floor with this kind of game because like there's a little bit of a concern where you're like, oh, is he going to kind of, if you were negative on him, you're like, is he going to look like Josh Okogie? Is he kind of just going to be like athletic, but like you don't want the ball in his hands and he's going to have a million years to shoot and he never is really comfortable doing it. And he's just like kind of athletic for no reason and just is maybe a defensive replacement sometimes. And this... I didn't think that. I was worried about some of the like upside stuff, but like he's turned his game into such a diversified thing so early. And the thing, he makes it a really nice pass all the time. First play of the game, first bucket of the season, drive and kick to Oubre for 3. Yep. Nice outlet pass to Grimes. He just makes a sensible pass. He's a person who makes sensible passes, and you appreciate that from a high level rookie like that. The thing that I think Sixers fans who have been living through this dead ball athleticism Sixers era will appreciate that won't get in the highlights is the rebounding.
Oh, yeah.
And there were a ton of high finding
from all of them also.
From all of them, yeah. But even just VJ specific.
Yes.
Totally. You watch the Knicks series, you just like want to punch yourself in the back of the head. And he had 7 rebounds and they all felt big. They all felt like, oh, I'm determined to get this one. There was one big rebound at the end of the game when then he ended up getting tied up on it and won the tip. I thought he was awesome. And the mistakes he made, a handful, but like it's really good that they are letting him work through those mistakes. This will benefit him and the team this year, but more importantly next year. I think the way that Nick Nurse is coaching and the Sixers are running this, part of it is Paul George isn't there. Part of it is Embiid's not ready, minutes restriction, whatever. This is not a team that is like, we are going to win as many games as humanly possible. This is a team that is right now the priority ratio is well more tilted in favor of VJ, Maxey, McCain need to get as many chances to do everything as they possibly can.
You think that's how it's going to stay?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe part of it is PG's not there and Embiid's not quite himself yet, or this is all whatever. But for now, I think starting VJ indicates that.
Yes.
Yeah. I think they want. I think even playing him with a bunch of non-shooters, so it's like, hey man, you got to shoot. You have to shoot, and he answers that by taking 13 threes is huge.
I was surprised they started him and didn't start Grimes. Like the starting lineup was confused. It was surprising to me. So the starting lineup was Maxey, Edgecombe, Oubre, Barlow, Embiid. Yeah. Which really, when you're going into it and you ask yourself how many of those guys are you super comfortable shooting, it's only 2 going into this game.
Kind of one. Let's be real.
Well, Maxey and Embiid are the 2 guys.
But Embiid's not a volume shooter. Embiid's not a stand outside there, and you can just kick it to him whenever, and he's going to fire it up. Like it's really one.
I appreciate it. We'll get to Barlow eventually. Obviously, we'll have to. Yes. But I think I just appreciated when I was watching it, I thought to myself, oh, the commitment here is Nick Nurse is saying, we are going to try to rebound the shit out of the ball with all of us, and we're going to try to run. And instead of trying to shoehorn in shooting with an Eric Gordon or somebody that you can put out there and shoot, he said he's just going to want guys that can fucking go. Yes. And I thought that was I think actually McCain being out might help Edgecombe in the beginning a little bit. Sure. You can't start Grimes if he's going to be the only other guy, the only guard you have, you know? Yeah. So
I think that was probably part of it. And maybe when McCain is healthy, you send Oubre to the bench and bring Grimes in to start there. But yeah, I agree. It's very clearly like we are determined not to get out athletic. Nick Nurse's teams in Toronto were athletic and long, and the team that he had the last year or two in Philly was not at all. And so this is definitely, we are trying to play a style of basketball that is at least an identity, and they were doing it. Last thing on VJ for now. I mean, obviously, yes, I mentioned that defensive rebound, huge. I loved him hitting both free throws up 1 with 14 seconds left on the road. I was like, oh, this is huge. What a big win. And then they foul him again. I'm like, oh no, no, I've already written this narrative in my head. I've already done it. He's already passed the test. Don't give him another test. Why is he another test? Throws. Extra questions? No, we don't need them. And he missed both. And they didn't look bad, but just like, come on.
Well, when he misses the first one, I said, oh, it's going to be one of these things where he hits 1 of 2.
That's brutal. That was tough. And he looked so upset on the bench, and like McCain and I think it was Hunter Salas gave him like a pat. And I was like, good. And everybody's supporting each other. The vibes around the team are good. Let me talk about this one defensive play. Okay, is my favorite. It's a small play that I don't think will get mentioned. CJ, if you find it,
it's not the steal.
Well, the steal was sick. Blowing up a 2-man game with Garza and Simons, and he's just like, I'm taking this shit, and it led to a Maxey dunk on the other end. Loved it. Okay. And I'll talk about another thing later, but. In the second quarter, Drummond and Maxey kind of switch. Drummond isn't paying attention. Maxey goes out to guard somebody else. And Peyton Pritchard ends up being wide open in the corner, is about to be wide open on the strong side corner where the ball is. And VJ is on the weak side corner, and he just sees all of it. And he sees that Drummond is not going out to run with Pritchard. And so he, in his first professional game ever, runs all the way across the court to challenge a Pritchard shot, anticipating that the ball is going to get swung to him, which it did. And Pritchard misses it because of a good closeout. That's just like incredible awareness for a rookie for seeing the floor. And I loved it. It's a ton of really, really, really good signs. The role player floor and the ceiling that we saw parts of tonight is really genuinely exciting for a two guard like this.
It's the first game in the NBA.
Unbelievable.
The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is brought to you by Barker Therapeutic Dog Beds. I love my dogs. I've proven it many, many times. Have you? Because the fact is, if your dog is not sleeping on a Barker Therapeutic dog bed, I'm not totally sure that I can believe that you love your dogs or dog. What a Barker Therapeutic dog bed does is keep your dog more healthy by supporting their joints, by allowing your dog to sleep on a real bed. Go to barkerbeds.com/Ricky. barkerbeds.com/Ricky. Because if you go to that link, you're going to get Process Pup patches that you can put on the bed. You could put it on your denim jacket for all I care, but you want to have them because they're free. If you go to barkerbeds.com/Ricky, you're also going to get stickers as well. You also learn more about the bed. You send us a picture of your dog on the bed, Process Pup on the Instagram, all that kind of stuff. Why is it important that your dog is sleeping on a supportive mattress? Well, it's important if you are, right? You sleep on a bad mattress. How do you feel the next morning? You're putting your dog on some cheap bed that you got in the pet store for $40. Would you sleep on a bed like that? Of course not. Your dog has joints just like you do. So your dog has to sleep on a real mattress, and that is what not Big Barker anymore. That's what a Barker bed is. They did a study at Penn Vet, shows all of these things that I'm talking about: a reduction in joint stiffness, a reduction in pain severity, improvement in gait, all those sorts of things. And as your dog gets older, this gets more and more and more and more important. It's very important that you get your dog a good bed. That's why you got to go to bigbarker.com/Ricky. There's a 10-year warranty. The foam doesn't flatten or they replace it for free. It's handmade in the USA. Barker Therapeutic Dog Beds. How nice is it that we got a guy in the draft at this point in the process?
It's unbelievable how much better he has gotten. Like,
yes, in that short time.
You saw some of it in those few preseason games he played, summer league, whatever. But man, he just looks really good. And he talked about how much he hated college basketball. This is VJ. Yeah. So maybe he just was like, I am this good. This is how good I am, and I'm not being allowed to do that at Baylor. But man, he looks great. He looks really, really good.
Maxey next or Embiid?
Let's do
next?
Maxey. I mean, having 40 points and being second billing, tied with Hal Greer for most points in an opener in franchise history. The broadcast
Dude, he was a motherfucker tonight.
Yeah, he was.
Tyrese Maxey was a motherfucker tonight. There
great.
are two separate times where the game was slipping away, and he stepped up and hit back-to-back threes.
Yep.
And two separate times in the game where the game could have gotten out of hand or whatever. Yep. I think the second time was in the third or the fourth, but they were just such big shots. And it is a shame. I'm not a ref guy, but it's a shame that you have to be some grifty lunatic like Jalen Brunson to get calls if you're a guard at the rim, because I just think that Maxey, maybe I'm glad that he isn't grifty or something, but I just don't think he gets the benefit of the doubt on calls when he should. Maybe it's because he's too fast. Maybe it's because he's not angling for it. But he was a motherfucker tonight, man. I mean, he backed up the way. I really loved the way that he talked at Media Day and the way that he handled himself this summer after a disappointing year. But he backed it up tonight. There was Embiid out there dragging ass all over the place, not doing anything. And Maxey, like he did, we saw him do in the Knicks series, Maxey just said, okay, my team now. And he was the best player on the court tonight. The
Sixers, I was going to mention the same thing. There were two shots that Maxey made that was just like, we are not going to fucking fold.
Yeah.
And the Sixers for 6-7 years now have sort of gone the way of Joel's moods. and his energy. And when he's feeling good, everybody's having a good time. And then something bad will happen, and then it'll snowball, and then everyone will be like looking at each other, open palms, waiting for something else to happen, pissed off, moping around stuff. And that's who Joel is, and I think he knows it. And it's an unfortunate part of why he's not the perfect leader. And Maxey's like, it's my team. This is my team now. We don't do that anymore. And Nick Nurse mentioned it earlier on. And those big shots and big energy plays on top of the offensive rebound stuff from the other guys, which we're going to talk about, just kept them in this game. Even when the third quarter was putrid, it was huge. And the shots were great. I've been wanting Maxey to come around screens, fly around screens for years now. And Nick Nurse indicated he was doing that by the way the preseason was run. And it happened tonight, and he was fucking 7 of 9 from 3. Some of them were off the dribble. Some of them those pull-ups, which are just like, I'm feeling it. Get in.
How about the one off of the Barlow offensive rebound that was about 40 feet away, and he's just like, I got this one. He's
just so confident, so smooth with that. It's going to be really special, that Maxey off-ball stuff, when McCain is back. Because McCain, I think, is a better, shiftier ball handler and maybe a savvier passer. And not that Maxey can't do it, but it's just not like, if you get him one-on-one, he's either driving all the way to the rim or like slamming the brakes and pulling up. But he's not doing a ton of manipulating, although he had a nice driving kick to Oubre for that corner 3 to take the lead. So I'm excited to see what it looks like with McCain. But yeah, I mean, he had a tough. You remember that baseline floater he hit in traffic? The tiny floater was from like 6 feet. That is such a tricky shot. Yeah. And he's just got that floater. He was pretty quiet.
Even the one. How about the shot where the shot clock is running out, and they're in the bottom right hand part of the screen or whatever, and Embiid's standing there.
Right in front of him.
And he just sort of like, he knew Embiid was there, but instead he took this. He launches backwards and takes this fall away 17-footer and hits that.
I got that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was pretty quiet in the first, and then just totally took over in the second. He got to the foul line, picks Simon's pocket, and finished with the dunk, and then hit a floater all in like a minute. Those pull-ups, he hit another floater. I mean, he just dominated, and he can push with that right hand. He can invite the contact and get some whistles. He is a devastating shooter. His combination of shooting and burst, especially with the right hand, is pretty singular in this league right now. The guys that go as fast as him are not as good at shooting the ball, and the guys who are as good at shooting the ball are not fucking nearly as fast as him. And I want to reiterate, I said it last season when everything was going bad, he is an above average defender. He has made himself into an above average defender. He was ball hawking. He got called for a couple ticky-tack fouls that I don't think he's going to get all the time.
Also, I want to throw out there, he played the entire fourth quarter with 5 fouls.
Yeah.
He got whistled for his 5th foul with 11:13 left in the game, and they needed him for every second of that rest of that game, and he didn't foul out.
They didn't take him out for a second there.
I don't think so. No.
That's a lot of trust. And always is nails from the line when it counts the most. Yep. Always. Just like so calm. He's the man. I love him, and I'm glad. He fucking wore last season. He wore it, and he got pissed off, and he made changes this offseason to shift the culture of the team. I think part of that was McCain just being there. I think part of that was drafting VJ. You know, Daryl does the solid, the bro move of signing your friend in Trendon Watford, who hasn't played yet, but I'm excited to watch him.
Wow.
And then just a bunch of other young guys that are just like, yeah, this is the leader. I'm following him. And Embiid's cool with it. And Paul George, I guess, is cool with it. And it's just like the vibes around the team are really, really, really good. And they would have been even if they lost this game, even if the Celtics didn't shoot 26% from 3.
I don't care.
They still would have been really good. And that's a nice win. That you should feel good about the team in many, many ways, except for specifically one.
Yes. So Trendon Watford is a rising candidate for wait a minute, what was your injury? Why are you still out? The injury of the year, with the hamstring. But I think it's only been a couple weeks. It feels like it's been longer.
Feels
but
forever.
as you were mentioning McCain, one note I wrote down when I was, when I'm looking at the starting lineup, which almost, aside from Embiid and Maxey, felt almost like a Process era starting lineup a little bit. We got, there's the rookie, there's the two-way guy, there's the guy that's going to be dealt at the trade deadline, is how much thicker this rotation is going to be when McCain and Paul George are there and Watford are there.
Yeah.
And I think we'll get to Barlow too. Maybe it's a blessing that Watford was hurt during the preseason because Dominick Barlow ended up getting the minutes he did because he was.
Do you want to talk about Barlow before Embiid? Just keep the positivity going.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
man.
Dominick Barlow was awesome.
Good for fucking Dominick Barlow, dude. On a 2-way contract.
Yep.
Like barely played in San Antonio. Was just sort of like wandering around. There's so many of these kinds of guys who are like, they played in some like G League Ignite type team. And they're kind of tall and athletic, and you can see how they dominated other positions, or other leagues when they were younger. But like, this is the NBA. You really got to be very good at something, and most of them are just not good enough. And they do like a couple years in the NBA, and then they're like, oh fuck, and then all of a sudden they're playing in Barcelona.
Dude, he had 5 offensive rebounds. Did any Sixer have 5 offensive rebounds the entirety of last season?
I bet Bona and Drummond did once or twice, but Barlow I would be interested to know if any power forwards did any forwards. He was awesome. He started. He did the jump, which he absolutely should have. Immediate offensive board tapbacks to Maxey. Couple offensive boards kick to VJ. He grabs it and he's looking for a shooter right away. Mm-hmm. He's looking for a shooter to step into a 3 right away. And I think I've said this before, but we've never had those kind of tapback guys.
Yeah,
we've never had
the Josh Hart guys.
Yeah. The Josh Hart guys, or just like a big guy who's like, I don't know, Clint Capella, like smacking the ball back, and you're like, fuck, Trae Young got an offensive rebound again because of that. Like now they have to just sit through another possession, and it's the same part of me. I've made this reference before, but it's the same part of me that has been just dying for interior defensive linemen to knock a pass down. And it's just like, how come fucking McNabb is always getting his passes knocked down at the line, and we never do that to anybody else?
Yeah.
And it's just like fucking Paul Grassmanis fucking needs to just get his big paw up there and knock it down. And it's the same thing with these tapbacks, and I'm thrilled to see Barlow doing it. And it's not just him, by the way, but he was the main one. Had a putback dunk later that was huge. I mean, he's hustling his ass off. He had a big block on Derek White. He's running the floor. He's filling a lane. If you're not fucking Steph Curry or Maxey, you better run to the goddamn rim in transition. I have no tolerance for like 31% shooters flying to the perimeter on like a 2-on-1. Like, get your ass to the fucking rim, man. Give me a bucket or a foul. And I mean, he's usually going for the dribble handoff on the move, keeping the offense flowing like that from the elbow positions. And he's not always looking for him shot, but if they give him space, he's attacked the basket a couple times. Had a nice lefty finish through contact, got fouled a couple times. Big and one off the Celtics trapping in the 4th, which they always turn us over on. I love making them pay for that.
He's pretty confident in all of that stuff, in moving with and without the ball.
Yes.
He seems like a smart basketball player overall.
Yeah. The two things that if he improves markedly at one of them, he's an NBA player for the next 12 years. One of them is obviously a jump shot.
Yeah.
And he was 0 for 2 from deep, 5 for 6 from the line, which is great. And they're leaving him wide open. They are leaving him wide the fuck open.
Yep.
And the other thing is defense. Like, he has the body for a good defender. He has the length to be a good defender, but it doesn't seem like his brain works quite as fast on that end yet. And he's still young. There seemed to be a little lack of connectivity, like of seeing like, oh, this guy's taking this guy. That means I have to be over here and I have to be contesting this right now. I have to be contesting without flying by, like those kinds of things. I have hope that he will improve with time, at least a little bit. But if he becomes a genuinely above average defender, then he's really, really have something here. But, Barlow, and then we'll talk about Jabari. I mean, that's a lot of production on opening night from your two-way spot, man. That is two-way spots production. That was like, hey, we were excited about both of these signings. It was like, hey, athletic power forward that can rebound a little bit. Cool. And I did not think that they would be participating on such a high level this quick.
No, I didn't think we'd get 53 minutes out of them in the first game, which, and
19 points.
Yes. And
7 offensive rebounds.
I just love how much Barlow busts his ass for rebounds.
He is fucking busting his ass out there. He
And
is
the other-
ripping. I'm imagining him. He's busting his ass so hard that he's ripping farts as he's coming down up and down the court because he's just playing so hard, and I love it for him. I respect it.
The other Barlow thing I like from a rebounding perspective is because of the way he's built, he can grab those rebounds where he goes over somebody and doesn't get called for over the top. He is skilled in getting that rebound, almost like jumping and reaching over the guy. He got a couple of those. It was great. What a debut from Dominick Barlow, who is definitely, they don't have to do it anytime soon, but is definitely going to get his contract converted to a regular NBA contract. And before I don't want to miss this. Credit to Nick Nurse for seeing something in Barlow and going with it. And sometimes you just have a gut, passes your eye test. Justin Edwards barely played, who they just signed a contract to, but he's like, no, Barlow's the guy. We need that. And credit to Nick Nurse that offensively, even when they were stagnant, they were moving so much more tonight than they ever moved last year all right. The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast, speaking of moving, is brought to you by Adam Ksebe, the official realtor of the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast.
Move to Delaware.
Mr. Delaware. Look at him. No sales tax in Delaware and no sales tax with Adam Ksebe. I don't even know what that means. Ksebe can help you find your dream shore home at the Delaware beaches. The Delaware, man, if you haven't spent time at the shore in Delaware, you are truly missing out. I know you probably grew up going to the Jersey Shore. Delaware has it all. And the two things I always say that Delaware is better than Jersey: one, restaurants. The Delaware beaches, way better restaurants than Jersey. And two is property taxes. And that's where Ksebe comes in. Ksebe knows, like, the property taxes in Delaware are much in the Delaware beaches, are very low, some of the lowest in the country. Jersey Shore, some of the highest in the country. So where Ksebe comes in is because the market is very competitive down at the beach houses, things like that. You need a realtor who knows the landscape. You need a realtor who knows when the houses are going to come for sale. You need a realtor who's going to help you bid the right way to get you that house. And if you thought, that's, something I can't afford to do, think of the idea of, instead of spending $3,000 for a week down the shore, you have that house, people are paying you that, they're paying your mortgage, and you have a place to go with your family, your friends down the shore. I'm telling you, Ksebe is the guy. I trust him. I was going to say trust him with my life. I don't know if I want to put him in that position, but I certainly trust him with helping you get your house down the shore. Also, if Ksebe is based out of Long and Foster and Bethany Beach, he can handle Delaware and Maryland. If you're looking to buy or sell a house not in those two states, he can still be your first call. He is a giant network of realtors. He will talk to you first, figure out what you need, and talk to his network of people and find the exact right person for you. He should be your first call. 302-864-8643. That is his cell. So if you don't like making phone calls, you can text him as well. 302-864-8643 or adam@processrealtor.com. We got to do Embiid now. I'm sorry.
Let me just finish up on Jabari Walker since we talked about.
All right. How about
Barlow.
Jabari Walker getting first quarter minutes?
Unbelievable, dude. Both of them. Unbelievable. I mean, big offensive rebounds in the first quarter. Really, both of them setting the tone, like, physicality wise. Mm-hmm. And good for Nurse. You're saying good for Nurse for identifying that they needed some size in this guy and going with Barlow. But there was a time when both of them were on the court at the same time in the fourth quarter. Jabari and Barlow as a centerless front court in the fourth quarter. Yeah, it didn't always work, especially defensively. Like, there were a bunch of, like, Neemias Queta finishes at the rim because both of them were just, like, not really rim protecting. But it was
the right decision.
It was the right decision. Those were the best players in the front court tonight. So they deserved it, and I think that it maybe kept them in the game offensively because our offense, it allowed the Sixers to hit more shots than Boston. Mm-hmm. And he hits a total fluke Like they don't take shots like that anymore, type shots to beat the shot clock in the third, like a 15-footer off the dribble to stop the bleeding when they scored like 11 points in 9 minutes or whatever. And a huge rebound off an Edgecombe miss, battling inside, laying it up and in. Like just big, physical, not athletic. I appreciate a guy who's not athletic at all, but can rebound the fuck out of the ball. And he's working. He's playing his ass off. He knows exactly what he is. He took a three. That was the right shot to take. He seemed pretty decent on defense, at least staying in front of you. He doesn't have like the quickest hips in the world, but
and
he's
you say
playing hard.
non-athletic. He's very strong, but he is nailed to the ground.
Yes, nailed.
You know,
Yes.
nailed to the ground. Yeah,
anchored to the ground.
yeah.
And yeah, man, good for the two of them. Two-way guys getting major minutes on opening night and playing well. And you know, Barlow was a +1, Jabari was a +3 in those minutes. That's at least, you know, it's small sample size, of course, but like those guys are impacting the game and not dragging it down. And for those guys to get on the two ways, good for Daryl.
And that's all we want with two ways is guys that could potentially help the team if you throw them in there. And those two guys showed that at least tonight. Well, and Barlow is like he's gonna play all year. You know, I don't know about Walker, but Barlow certainly will. Worth noting, when we talked last, when we did the pod the other day, the line was I think 2 was Celtics, but the combination of Jaylen Brown being in and the Embiid minutes restriction, when the game went off, it was 5.5. The Sixers were 5.5 point dogs tonight when the game finally tipped.
What was the minutes restriction? I did not see it. What was the number?
Well, they didn't say what it was. They said he was on one though. So my guess was based on when they took him out in the first quarter, which is at the 6-minute mark. I thought, okay, it's probably like a 20 to 24 minute restriction was my guess, and they figured they would get 6 out of him. You know, or maybe they thought they would go 6, 6, 6, and then 2, and then have him for the last 4. But he was so bad that they didn't have him in.
I'm surprised they didn't bring him back in.
I was waiting for it to happen, and Nick Nurse saying, and you were saying, and I didn't know if I agreed with it, but the more I'm thinking about this particular decision, when you said earlier in the pod that they are more invested in the future in this year than the present. Mm-hmm. I didn't know if I would believe that, but I do think unless his minutes restriction was 20 and that was that, the decision of Nick Nurse not to put Embiid in at the end of the game if he had minutes left was a testament to that. Mm-hmm. You know, him just saying, I'm sorry, I know it's the first game of the year and this is his first game back, but I'm not putting him back in there.
Yeah,
He was atrocious tonight. Joel was atrocious tonight. He was. And it wasn't. I could talk my way through this and say, well, look, all these things are true. He hasn't played a game in a year. Mm-hmm. All those things are true, and I could say, well, he looked fine moving around, but he just didn't hit shots. He didn't really look very good moving around, especially compared to the Minnesota game. He didn't look. I wouldn't say he looked that much different than pre-injury, him moving around, but he didn't look better. I can tell you that. And his shot looked flat. I was a little annoyed that even the ISOs he was doing were all post-ups instead of face-ups. You know, I just thought it was such I know he's playing starters now instead of backups, but it was a significant difference from the preseason game, I thought, overall.
Yeah, slow, lumbering, rusty.
Yeah.
Got his shit rocked by Xavier Tillman.
Yep. Xavier Tillman, who looks straight out of 1992.
I love Xavier Tillman.
Yeah.
I really do. Joel's basically a jump shooter now. He was operating from the nail. He wasn't, which is fine. Yeah. He wasn't really establishing position underneath. They tried to post him up a couple times, but he couldn't do anything with it. I wonder if that's because he doesn't feel comfortable, with too much contact, or he's worried about it, or he's playing with so many non-shooters that he has to give them the dunker spot. You could say early on, I was like, okay, he's letting the game come to him.
Yep.
Took a couple shots, looked fine, didn't fall.
Yep.
He's not making it about himself. That was the positive look I had on it early. And then, VJ was hot, and then Maxey was hot, and then Joel will always feed a hot hand. He's always like, this guy's cooking, let him keep cooking. You think of like Shake Milton games that Joel has let him go for that. The negative is obviously like lackadaisical, not impactful. Can't get to the level of himself that we're used to, even at like an average level.
He didn't do anything well tonight. He didn't
to
do
me,
anything well.
the defense was the most alarming thing.
Yes, because he can't move laterally.
He
wasn't look like. I'm not saying he can't. I want to because
did.
I can feel everyone melting down at this point in this game.
Yeah,
he did not look. I didn't expect him to look like normal Joel, but it didn't look good. Like defensively, he couldn't get over to his. They were missing assignments because he couldn't rotate over. You know.
Yeah,
he just.
It was some combination of laziness or. He wasn't respecting Tillman's shot, which is maybe smart, but also maybe like, hey, I'm just not bringing my big ass out there. The alarming thing to me was that he wasn't baiting guys into those like blocks from behind where he's like, yeah, you have an open layup. Go take it. See what you got. And then being like, I closed it. That gap is gone. He got bullied by Jaylen Brown one-on-one inside, just like out physicaled. He tried to pin a Jalen scoop against the backboard and mistimes it, which he never did. His timing on those blocks has always been so good. And then he did get a block from behind on a wide open Tillman. I want to give him credit for that. That was a big play. But, look, he played in the season opener. That's nice. He did some nice things against Minnesota backups the other day. That was nice. So maybe I don't think that this is who he is going to be forever, but everybody just got to hopefully just stays healthy-ish, and we can adjust. Like, what does it look like to be a fan of Joel Embiid and a team that is counting on Joel for some things, but not all things in 2025? And does the success of Maxey, VJ, McCain eventually, Paul George, who I do think with all the non-shooting out there, they did miss him. I felt I would like to have Paul George on this team. Does he get more one-on-one matchups? And as he gets healthier, can he succeed more on that when there's not like doubles or triple teams coming?
Well, and the look, this is his first game at NBA speed, and he there's a significant chance he just wasn't ready for it, and he was rusty. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I do want to be honest in thinking, like, before I saw him in the preseason game and saw the skinny pictures, I was, hey, this is pretty much over. So I'm trying to resolve where I was, and then where I was, and then where I was. And I'm just going to say this is that and this is what I was trying to explain to AU on the pod that you weren't on, because AU is miserable. And I said, why are you so miserable? And I said, here's the thing. Most of the different outcomes of this year are all fun, are all good. If Joel can play and they're a contender, fine. If he can't, also fine. We have these young guys we're going to watch and all those sorts of things. So I'm just sort of at a place where it would really suck if he did not advance past this. I don't think that's likely. I think it's more likely that we get a reasonable facsimile of what we know to be him. But it's also possible that it's not. But tonight was not encouraging in any way. There was nothing. It would be great if he looked good physically and he just shot 1 for 14 or something. That would be fine, whatever. Yeah. But he none of it looked good.
I will say the shots looked fine to me. You said the shots looked flat. I didn't see that. I mean, I thought they were like Joel looking shots that just didn't fall. I will say he didn't turn the ball over, and a lot of times when he's feeling not himself, he'll force it or be lazy. I guess they did. Maybe they gave Tillman a block on that play where he took it from him instead of a steal, because that was obviously like a eat your lunch type play. But no, it wasn't good. 1 of 9 from the field for 4 points and 6 rebounds and a minus 16 in those 20 minutes.
And they won.
But being a plus 17 in the 28 minutes he wasn't there is still inspiring. If you feel like the way that I'm looking at this season is I'm going to be excited about the players that I'm excited about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to hope some things coalesce. And if all of those things coalesce at the same time, then I'll start to get excited on that level. But I'm trying to consider like the top. I'm trying not to bank on, in previous years I did when the expectations were so high. I'm trying not to bank on, okay, that 5% outcome, that top 5% outcome where everything just goes right.
Right.
I'm just looking for a couple things to go right.
Yes.
Last year was so bad, and I'm looking for a couple things to go right. I don't know which ones they are. Right now, VJ being better than expected right away is definitely a big one. Barlow is a fun one, and the team just having an identity and a fun time together is a fun one. And we'll see what else they are. But I'm not. I'm trying not to be put all of my eggs in any basket, really.
My expectations are just so, I think, reasonable at this point, and not in a bad way. I'm looking forward to my expectations being a little more moderate. And did Joel live up to expectations tonight? No. But you know who did? Maxey. He exceeded them. You know who did? VJ Edgecombe. He exceeded them. You know who did? Dominick Barlow. He exceeded them. So it's a new reality, I think, that we're in. And maybe he catches up. Maybe it was a bad first game.
Yeah, I really am not. I'm not thinking that this is how Joel's not going to shoot 11% from the field every game. He's going to have games where he's like, oh fuck, there he is again.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's just a balance. I need like a B+ version of Joel. That's all I'm asking for.
I'll take a B- to be quite honest with you at this point. The Rights Ricky Sanchez podcast brought to you by LL Pavorsky Jewelers, the very first sponsor of the Rights Ricky Sanchez podcast. Was bonding over text about LL today about bad South Jersey roads. He saw a tweet of mine. He was like, it's even worse in Voorhees where he lives. So little moment LL and I had. LL, the first sponsor of the Ricky, and is responsible for many marriages. I mean, maybe he's not responsible, but he's been a part of many marriages, many Ricky marriages, closing in on 500 Rights Ricky Sanchez listeners purchasing engagement rings from LL. Why do they get them from LL? Well, they first go there because we tell you to, right? That's the first step. But why are they happy with it? Why do they keep going to LL? Well, it's because of how he treats everyone. Like he is a jewelry purchase can be an intimidating one, can be a pressure-filled one, but it's none of that with him. It's no annoying sales pressure, and you're getting a quality product from a quality guy at a good price and treats you with respect. And the entire beginning to end of it is amazing. I've seen him working with people. I've seen him when I go in there, how he treats everybody who is Ricky related, and it's awesome. And we're proud to have him as a sponsor. If you want to buy an engagement ring from LL, he does everything appointment only. So that way he's not wasting your time, right? So when you go in there for the appointment, or if you do it over Zoom or whatever, after you've already talked to him and told him what you're interested in, he'll have everything laid out for you, and you go and you make the decision and take as much time as you want. And he is going to treat you amazing, whether you are buying a less expensive engagement ring or a more expensive engagement ring. He has been in the same spot at 707 Walnut for over 3 decades. Pretty amazing, right? So if you want to make an appointment, give him a call, 215-627-2252. That is 215-627-2252. Send him an email, Lee@LL Pavorsky Jewelers. We thank LL for being such a generous supporter of our charities, Mom T's Community Fridge, as well as Providence Animal Center. LL Pavorsky Jewelers.
Get ready for Cabana Halloween.
Cabana Halloween. Shout out to Adem Bona for the cardio tonight. A lot of running back and forth. You know who I'd like to talk about is I don't think it was in MOC's column about, bold predictions that Kelly Oubre is going to get traded at the deadline. And maybe that's possible. Mm-hmm. I am forever going to have a soft spot for Kelly Oubre, and I am forever going to defend him when people are mad at him. He has become one of those Sixers that for some reason, I don't know why some guys are like this or some guys are not. I appreciate the things that he does well, and the things that he bothers me, I will make excuses for him. And he missed a bunch of wide open threes tonight, but he busted his ass and he hit the one when it counted. And that one hitting the three and then drawing the foul on the other end was such an important thing. And
a
he's
couple of big free throws as well.
Yep. I like Kelly Oubre, and I enjoy that he's a Sixer, and I thought he is not perfect for what they need out of that role tonight. They needed a guy who can shoot a little bit better but he is what he is, and I appreciate him for what he is. So
yeah, man. I was when they signed him to the minimum, I was thrilled. And then he's been on, this is his third year here, and he just does his job. He's a guy who does a job.
Yep.
Is there a little bit of like I could probably do more belief? Sure. But he does his job, and he hits a big three. He blows a kiss to the crowd in Boston. He threw that alley-oop to VJ Edgecombe in traffic, which I appreciated.
That Edgecombe alley-oop almost reminded me of the Iguodala dunk contest dunk, in that I don't know how he got it in there. Like he was almost past the rim.
Yeah, I see it.
When he dunked it. I don't know. Whatever.
That's
I love
play.
Oubre.
Yeah, Oubre's just helpful, man. He's just a helpful player. And I think it's nice that he's not the only athletic player on the team now, because when he's your only athletic player, you're feeling a little bit lacking.
Yeah.
But he's a cog, and I think that they're super helpful. Let's talk. You mentioned Bona just really quickly. He wasn't great.
He's just he just doesn't seem like he's big enough to play center.
He's
honestly.
not quite big enough to play center.
Yeah.
But he's active as shit. He drew a foul hustling for an offensive rebound. I appreciated it. What he's really got to get better at is catching passes on the move in traffic when they come from different angles. He had 2 turnovers, or I don't know if they were credited to him, but they turned the ball over twice on guys passing to him in different positions. That was not just like, hey, you're wide open, here's a lob. And maybe they should have been lobs. Maybe that he should just be like, hey, just throw me lobs, please, God. But he's got to be able to, like, especially as a smaller 5, like, get your hands ready, bend over, catch those passes on the bounce pass when you're sliding in from the wing. At game speed and things are moving fast, he's got to anticipate where that ball's coming and be ready for it, and be able to just, like, very quickly. I don't know if there's a drill for this for bigs. I never play as a rim rolling center, so I don't know how to give this advice. But some Sixers,
I play like this.
I don't play like this.
Play like that.
I don't play like that.
I'm pretty intense.
No.
Like playing basketball. You got mad when I didn't hit your music.
No, that's fine. That's
fine. Yeah.
I wasn't mad. I was just teeing you up.
I know.
Press the button.
But
no, I think like finding ways to catch passes and lobs, almost like a wide receiver that then dunks afterwards. So, like, the ball's going to come in different positions and you're not going to be ready for it, but, like, let's train you to be ready for it. And there were a couple times tonight you're like, you just got to be able to vacuum up everything, and he didn't. And Drummond looked awful. He was there for a couple minutes, but he looked really bad, and he's just too old and slow. And maybe he's your stretch 5 you've been asking for. He's certainly going to play when Embiid is
the stretch
missing.
5 you've been asking.
Yes, you. I meant you as in the general you.
Oh, okay.
But he'll certainly play when Embiid misses time. But no, he's not very good. I'm interested to see. I mean, we're 7 years from this, but I'm interested to see, what do you get if you stack Oubre and Drummond together, or do you not? Is Oubre just like, well, you can trade that contract? It's a very tradable, expiring contract, but like, what are you going to get for it? Well, that's better than what he gives you. So maybe it's just like Drummond and Gordon and a pick or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, what MOC is talking about was tax related. I think it's less about what you would get and more about, what's he really helping you do.
For sure.
Grimes is just, a lot of people were complaining about Grimes tonight.
Really?
Yeah, online they were. I now who knows how real that is. I really think the thing with Grimes is figuring out what exactly his role is going to be. I was surprised. I was saying earlier, I was a little surprised. Sorry, I'm moving my desk here. I was a little surprised that VJ. Did you address why you thought VJ was the lead ball handler in those lineups where it was VJ and Quentin Grimes?
That was the prioritizing.
The young person thing.
Young.
Okay.
Like, this is the team that is, maybe they think like, hey, it's gonna help out the team long this year and in the future if we do that, or maybe they just think, well, we think he's just a better player, so we want him to have the ball more. But I think either way, the decisions that they're making seem to indicate, hey, if Joel and Paul George come back and they look like themselves, then great. But we're going to assume that they're not.
Okay. I thought I'm really just waiting on Grimes to when they figure out what this rotation is and what his role specifically is. You know, he had a three that he needed. Does he look thicker to you this year than he looked last year?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you think that's extra weight? Like, do you think he's out of shape, or do you just think he's strong?
No, I think I love the way he played, and I don't see any.
Okay.
I mean, I can only talk about my impression, but
yeah,
I thought he played great. I thought he did I think his role is very clear as like combo guard that can handle some, but you're not asking him to be your number one guy ever.
Right.
He plays hard as hell. One thing I always notice is when NBA defenders don't just accept what the offensive team wants. Like
explain.
In a pick and roll situation, there's so
Okay.
many times where you'd be like, oh yeah, they want to switch, and so we'll just give it to them. We'll just like switch rather than fighting through it.
Yes.
And
It is crazy that isn't it?
yeah, there's so
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
I understand sometimes when you're like, okay, there, but like if you're trying not to put like Trae Young on a big wing, like you got to fight to do that. You got to really like work to do that. And it seems like a lot of times many teams just sort of let that happen, and Grimes wasn't letting that happen. He was fighting through them like very Houston Cougar style. One play he stayed with White, and the next play he draws a moving screen on Hauser because he's fighting through it. And that's fucking my shit, dude. That's an identity. That is like we are establishing a tone, and I loved that. I love that he can high point a rebound. And so you're talking about him looking kind of stronger. It's not, to me, wasn't affecting his lift. He was getting up. He's a smaller wing for sure. He's not 6'8", but he's going to cover threes and bigger guys. And he was covering Jaylen Brown, and I thought he did an okay job a lot. One play, Jaylen put him in the basket because Jaylen is just like bigger and stronger than he is. That's going to happen. But
Jaylen Brown looked pretty good tonight. I'm not a big Jaylen Brown guy, but I thought he looked pretty good tonight.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But he also like Grimes is also really active on defense, even just like on ball. He's like just sort of getting his hands everywhere and making you feel him. And as far as his role in offense, like he doesn't need much space at all off the catch. He hit a big shot on a tight window late. You mentioned it. And I don't think he lets the ball stick in his hands. He gets it out quick. I thought he did some good driving and kicking. Is he like a perfect passer? Is he like excellent at that? Not really, but he's playing with a lot of non-shooters, so the defense was collapsing in pretty hard. And so maybe when McCain or MPG are out there, then there'll be more of those opportunities to find open guys, or to get by his guy and nobody comes over. But he was 10, 5 and 5, 3 of 8 from the field, plus 18. Like I just think he plays hard. He knows what to do. He's incredibly useful. To me, he's just like such a quintessential two guard. I really, really appreciate what he brings to the table, and I love how hard he's playing. I was really worried about like this messing up the vibe, and it seemed like he's just happy to be there and play hard. So maybe I was just like exaggerating that there'd be a problem.
The other thing I think that supports the idea of him him playing the way that he needs to play is the other contracts you see around the league for guys who play the way that they want him to play. Like there is money out there for a guy who plays his role on a good team. You know, that you don't have to, he's not convincing anyone that he is a 22-point a game scorer. It's just not, it's not realistic. No team is going to think that's what he needs to do. So I think if he is patient, there'll be a couple of games this year where there's the Quentin Grimes game where he somehow goes off for 31 or something like that. But he really just needs to do the things that they need him to do. And I've never gotten Well, hopefully. He doesn't appear as if a guy who's different than that, So
No, I don't think so. I mean, there's the guys that get paid in this league regularly are those big wing types usually.
Yeah.
And that's like Jaden McDaniels, DeAndre Hunter, even like Patrick Williams, even though he hasn't produced. And then the two guards that get paid are the ones that like really do their job, and that's like a KCP.
Yeah.
Like
but even
Malik
those
Monk's,
guys are usually on 1-year deals. Even when they get paid $20 million, it's a year or two. It's
year or two. Yeah.
Yeah.
Malik Monk's on a $19 million a year deal. Like that's not so far from what he's trying to be. Yeah, I think I wonder what he gets and if he gets it from the Sixers, but he's a good player and he should just keep doing what he's doing. And I think that things will continue to be clarified as more shooters join the lineup and his diverse skill set of like competent two-way player will shine.
They won, buddy.
They won, man. And out of the rotation, Justin Edwards.
Unbelievable. And I give credit to us for saying, hey, he doesn't look good at any time during the summer league and preseason.
Didn't earn it. Just really what it is. It's just like, hey, you're not playing well enough to earn these.
It's kind of surprising. I wonder what happened.
I mean, he just wasn't that great of an outside shooter. He wasn't an elite outside shooter. And because of how bad the Sixers were last year, him just like catching and rising up and getting playing time that way was like, oh, there he is. But I don't think that he's going to be out of the rotation for like the eternal, the whole season. But I love that Eric Gordon's out of the rotation. I love that Kyle Lowry's out of the rotation, and I obviously agree that Janai Broom is out of the rotation.
Yes, and Nick Nurse could have been tempted tonight to throw Eric Gordon in there for 8 minutes because he
certainly could have been.
He could have been tempted, and he wasn't.
And I hope that he is making Eric Gordon's life difficult enough that he asks for a buyout at a certain point, and they buy out a veteran contract and just sit there. But yeah, they went 8 deep. I mean, Drummond played for a second, but like they went 8 deep. So that to me is one of those two-way guys. Maybe Jabari gets bumped when Watford's ready, and then that's Paul George and Jared McCain.
Pretty excited to get McCain back. I think Paul George will be within the next week, and hopefully Jared McCain is by mid-November. That would be my hope.
Yeah, PG's closer, right?
Yeah. Yes, yeah. PG's very close. Yeah. Well, they won.
What a nice opening night. They're 1-0.
Yep. We will.
That's great.
Thank you to everyone who's listening now, who listened to me and CJ talk about movies for an hour.
Sorry.
We didn't want to do any of the Sixer stuff, so we allowed people to ask questions. So,
very nice.
Yeah. So.
I was working and I didn't want to half-ass watch the game at work.
No. We respect it. And everyone hung out.
Took it seriously.
We just wanted to let everybody know that we were going to be here. So
that's good.
We will talk to you Saturday morning after the Sixers play Sunday morning.
Yep.
Sunday morning after the Sixers play their second game.
They have the one of 18 games against the Charlotte Hornets starting Saturday.
As usual. Oh, and shout out Ace Bailey, 20 minutes, 2 points tonight. So I know you scored 30 in the preseason, but it's just nice for tonight that we have the guy who looks awesome.
That's good.
Yeah.
That is good.
We will talk to you Sunday morning. Are you down with TTP?
Yes. Lick face.